Hi, everyone. It's Coach Leah Dunlap, and I am really excited to be here tonight to talk to you all live and talk about why we still burn witches. All right. So, hi to everyone that's on. Hey, everybody. Say hey if you're here. Appreciate it. I'm really excited because as many of you know, I am the Oracle on purpose, and that means that I, of course, have embraced and embodied the concept and the idea of having a talent and a gift that is unique and is divine and is intuitive, and it allows me to do things that other people, perhaps not all other people, but many other people cannot do. And some of those skills and talents and gifts that I possess would land me into the category, if you will, of witch or woo-woo or wizardry or magic or whatever you want to call it. And most recently, I had a really phenomenal download from the Oracle last week in regards to this topic. And specifically, that very line, which was, why do we still burn witches? And when it first came to me, right, when the hit of that came to me, I was really excited to kind of play with that concept. Okay, that's a lie. I was not at all excited. Okay, I was uncomfortable, and when I was uncomfortable, I had to ask myself, why does this topic make me uncomfortable? What is it about that concept of being a witch, being woo-woo, being a freak, or whatever it is? Why does it make me uncomfortable? And why can't I seem to fully claim it? And why can't others? What is it about that that's really holding people back? So, the first thing I wanted to kind of bring up was just that that why. What was it about it that made people feel like falling in that category, if you will, right? Falling in that category was something that we shouldn't do. There's some kind of mystique, some taboo. That's another word for it. Taboo for being labeled woo-woo or weird or different, or touched is another word that some people use. And so I have a question for you, because this is kind of a trivia thing for those of you guys that are on. And I'm just curious if you would think to yourself, I know that one of the first things that comes to mind for most people is that they burn witches, right? Like, they burn witches. That's happened in the past. So I have a question. So if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, I'd love to see your answers, because I'm curious. And I did the research, so I think I know the answer. But I would love to hear from you guys what you think your answer to this question would be. So I'm going to post the question. Let me just grab it here. Let's see if it gives me just the question, I hope. Oh, where'd my question go? Okay, I can type it in if I need to. There it is. Let's see. How do I show this agenda item? Okay, hide that. There we go. All right. Okay, so the question is, when was the last witch burned? I know that's not really a topic that we necessarily want to talk about, but there's this concept that that's one of the biggest detractors, right? That's like the first thing that people think of, obviously negative thing that they think of when they think of this. So the question on the table, should you wish to answer it, is this. Your guess, please. So when was the last burning? When was the last time, we'll say, a witch? We'll also spell it right. How's that? Okay, so when was the last time a witch, which apparently I can't spell. That's awesome. I can spell it. I can't type it apparently. There we go. Okay, so there may or may not, as I like to give little prizes because that's how I am sharing my magic. When was the last witch burned? Now, I'm sharing this with you for a very good purpose. So please know that that's the case. But I am also sharing it because I think it's important to consider, like, this is a concept. This is one of the biggest reasons when people talk about things that are woo-woo, or they have a talent, or they have a special gift, or people say they're crazy and things like that. This is one of the reasons that they give for not wanting to be that, right? So not wanting to fully embrace it. So this is an opportunity for you to kind of think for yourself. When do you think this happened? When was the last time? Just give me a year. You can give me a general year too, not to give a specific year. But when was the year? If you were to date it, what was the date of this happening, do you think? So we're going to do a little dance. Okay. Abracadabra, alakazam, and go ahead and put your guesses in now. So as soon as I see a couple of guesses, I will go ahead and I will share the real answer. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means. Okay. So great. Yeah, damn. Good question. Last season of Games of Thrones. Yeah, I don't know, but I do know that I've released trauma recently from my body that brought some memories back. So I think it exists in collective consciousness all the time. Yeah. 1987. Interesting. Okay. So good comments. Thanks, Angela, for playing along. So since we've got that, has anybody else got a guess? I know there's a couple of more people out there. So just give me a date. And let's see how close Angela is, or how close you are to the actual date that's at least recorded in the things that I looked at today and reviewed. All right, so give you another minute for those of you who are out there. All right, anybody want to guess? Another guess? Okay, so here's the cool thing. 1928. Hey, I think someone has peaked. Yeah, so the number per Wikipedia, all right? So I'll actually go to the actual information here. So I want to give you the real. Okay, so it is a trick question. So Angela kind of alluded to that. It's a trick question because per Wikipedia, Bridget Cleary of County Tipperary in Ireland was the last woman burned at the stake in 1895. 1895. So technically Jennifer was the closest. So why is that a trick question? It's a trick question because, of course, it's not just about the fact that other people did this, right? Other people went out and created this witch hunt and all of that. Because the reality of it is we're still burning witches right now. And what I mean by that is it still feels unsafe to let what is naturally a part of a person who has a gift like that, you know, whether that's a healer or a medicine person or a shaman or someone who practices tarot or astrology or any of those kind of gifted, talented arts. For those people who have that gift, it still feels like it's going on today, right? So even if it's happening kind of almost metaphorically, it is still happening today. And so that is one of those big reasons why those people out there who are creating a drama, not only necessarily in their own minds, but by perpetuating a myth about what it means to be woo-woo, what it means to be esoteric, for the empaths out there, for those people who are still kind of feeling as if they're not being seen fully, or it's not safe to be seen fully for the things that they know, right? There's that sense of knowing. So when we talk about that, then we have to look at like why we've held on to that for, hundreds of years, and why that's still lingering for all those years. And what came to me really interestingly through a session I did with a client the other day was a pure insight from the Oracle that kind of left me reeling. It left me reeling because it was such an intense experience of recognizing that not only have we been doing this ourselves for all these years, right? Now that we're obviously not attached to an environment where that's technically happening out in the streets per se. And still, even in what we would call a modern society, it's still happening. So, when we were talking about that subject, the Oracle shared an insight that I think is truly profound. And it really got me to understand from a different perspective how powerful the energy of magic really is. All right. So are you ready? Lean in, because this one's really great. This is a secret that the Oracle revealed to me during this session. And what the Oracle said was this: witches can't be killed. So whether that's burning, drowning, all of these things that were happening in the times, it didn't matter. And really, the next question came this way: what if burning of witches was a form of alchemy? Now, I'm not going to kid you. This isn't necessarily, like I said, right when I started, this is not exactly something I wanted to get on and talk about, because it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people for a lot of good reason. And yet, that's what came, was what if this was a form of alchemy? And if during the witch hunts, and instead of casting us, the witches, the wizards, the seekers, the seers, the healers, all of those people who were persecuted, instead of casting us out, they actually just turned us into cosmic gold. Right? What if that's what it was about all along? See, there's this concept where we get attached to the body that we're living in, and we think that that's it, that's all there is. And it's interesting, right? Because of course, if we are the wizards and we're the witches and we're the healers and the seekers and the seers and the shamans, there's also a part of us that knows that's absolutely not true. And so, yeah, right, Angela, it's really breathtaking. And it was so breathtaking in the moment that it happened that I literally had to stop in the session and take a few minutes myself, right? Because the reality of it is, I like to let people know, I am a human being. I am living in a human world. I drink, I sleep, I do all the things that humans do. And I live with this cosmic energy, the Oracle, who is living in the ethers and sharing this intense knowledge from a place that I can barely even touch, except I'm gifted in having that access. And so when this happened in the session, I was taken aback. Beautifully, the client that I was working with was taken aback, but also touched, as Angela was just saying, really touched with the thought of what that means. And recognizing that if we could shift the concept of what that experience was, that archetypical wound, if you will, that we have around this gift that we are, how much more amazing could our lives be? How much more good work could we do? What kind of actual service could we be to others if we let that down, right? If we put that piece down. So I don't know about you, excuse me, but throughout my life, there have been times when I've been carrying stones, right? Carrying things from my past that are like my baggage, right? So I don't know about you. Maybe it's just me. I kind of doubt it. But if I'm carrying that baggage, and if this baggage is archetypical and it's been passed along for generations and centuries, if you will, then what kind of energetic release, right? What kind of energy is released when we let it go? And what can we do with that energy? What could you do with it? So as you're watching this, hey everybody, as you're watching this and you're contemplating these ideas, I understand, first of all, that these are ideas that are touching on some really genuinely tender and sensitive subjects. And I think it's time. I think it's time that we start to ask these questions, because I feel very clearly that there are others out there like me who are in hiding, like I used to be. And not only is that not fair to them, right? Not only is that not fair to the person who's walking around with all of this in them, it's also unfair to the world that's waiting for them to wake up and show up. And, there was another moment for me that I recognized recently, where I have had over my lifetime, many times, a recurring vision of running down a tunnel of energetic light, so like a rainbow tunnel, if you will. And as I'm racing down this tunnel, I am literally just unlocking cages, just letting people free. And what it is it's a feeling of like, let me show you the way. Let's go together. There's this energy that there's this pent up space where it hasn't been safe, and now it is. And so that's one thing I think that I really want to share, is this idea that when she said that, when she brought that to the table, it wasn't so much saying that there wasn't a time in history when this happened, except that when it did, it's so much more important to see from I guess in a way, a cosmic perspective, how it is now manifesting itself as something completely different. And therein lies the alchemy, right? Because that's what alchemy is about. It's about transmuting something from one form to another. And from that transmutation, we are brought into something more beautiful and more amazing, and perhaps even more complex than was there previously. And to me, that is the point that she was touching on. And so what I know of those people I've worked with who are gifted is that the world is so much better off today for having them show up fully as who they are. I was very fortunate recently to receive a very generous testimonial through Facebook, and when I was tagged in this comment, and when I was reading the message, I recognized that this individual is doing phenomenal work in her in her world, in the work that she does. And by me showing up and doing my work, right, I was truly able to make a difference in her ability to step out and be fully seen. And so in doing that, we both then are able to serve more people, right? There's that ripple effect of being able to connect with somebody 100% as who they are, and then give them the opportunity to really give everything they can. And so when I saw this post, I was I was not only touched, obviously just because it was such a kind statement that she made, but I was really honored to see what kind of an impact my showing up at that level meant for her and for the people that she's working with, right? If she hadn't shown up 100% the way she had, then the impact would have been stunted, right? Like there wouldn't have been as many people allowed to receive her gifts. So I'm going to share it now. I'll share it in the comments and read it to you. But I think that we can say we are, we're okay. We're okay if people don't really realize or recognize us for our gifts and our talents. We can do it anyway. We don't really need people to acknowledge us, and that's great. That's great. But I don't know that it's true. I don't know that that's a good way to provide service to people. So I'm going to go ahead and just post it here in the comments because it's, it's a little bit of something. But what I really want you to see in here is something she said for herself, which I really appreciated. And that was, oops, did that not go? Let me try that again. All right, I may have just posted that twice. So if I did, I apologize. Okay, so the piece of here that I really liked was she said that she was able to recognize that for her, that her monthly lives landed on the new moon and the full moons, and that gave her the opportunity to really reach more people, because she said people are creating so many products and workbooks and circles and art in this thing, right? So that is an alchemy, right? That we took a fear that she had about being more visible and turned it into something that allowed her to do better work. And in doing better work, she is actually helping those people then have a more fulfilling experience of their own lives in the work that she does. So, that's that ripple effect. And the reason we need to demystify the concept that somehow we don't need to give this gift fully. I don't even want to say demystify. That's not the right word. Somehow it doesn't matter that we don't really show our gifts or share our gifts, that it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I can do it on the weekend. I can do it for myself. I can do it for my friends. I can, I'll do it someday. Right. So there is that kind of weekend warrior who, very much like me when I first started out, was like in the corporate world, which I love the experience of. Everything I've experienced has helped me be who I am today. So I'm not discounting that. What I am saying is, had I recognized sooner the impact of being fully present could have, not only on my own life and my own business, but on those people that I touched, I feel like I might have taken that leap sooner too. So I think that's why, ultimately, I like to say, the world needs your woo, right? So whatever your version of woo is. So that could mean that you're providing your clients with an extra intuitive guidance towards their work in any fashion, right? I made the comment here in the post about setting this up that you could be a superhero tech, and I think about, for myself, I was looking at pictures and images of the Oracle from the Matrix, right? And so here's this guy from the Matrix who is clearly when the show starts, so hopefully this is not a spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't seen The Matrix, but um, who clearly is not thinking of himself as woo woo, right? Let's be honest. Like when he shows up, this is not a guy who's like, oh yay, I'm totally woo woo. Right? It's not. That's not how Neo um, comes to understand or be involved in the Matrix, right? So let's be clear. What does happen, right, is that Neo um, he gets inside of the space with the Oracle, um, and in that space, he starts to kind of get a concept of what's on the other side of the veil, right? That's like he's watching the kids in the room. Like that's the scene I always come back to, is the scene with the cookies and the cigarette smoking and the other gifted people um, in the room. And so the question then becomes, is 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 he going to step into this role, right? Is he going to accept that he actually is part of this uh, destiny, or it is part of his destiny to be part of this experience, or is he going to step back? And of course, there's the whole infamous red pill, blue pill moment, which I always think is a nice homage to Alice in Wonderland, frankly. Amanda said it's been 20 years. It doesn't count if they haven't seen it. Exactly. And I'm guessing she's back to the idea of like the idea of the witches and all of that. So, consider the state of the world today, really. I think it's no mistake, no accident that people who have, we'll call them esoteric gifts, right? So people who are healers and shamans and seers, that we're coming to the surface. There's a bubbling up of this all around us. And I think that there's a call for it in the world. There are so many wounded parts. It's almost hard to keep track. So enter the healers, right? Enter those who have the capacity, those who bring like the energetic clearings and the increased abundance, and those who sow ease where there's chaos. And even those whose their very presence, right, and every action kind of create a whole earth or holistic healing. And I believe right now that the healers among us, the witches, the warlocks, the wizards, help me out, anybody, the kahunas, the shamans, so many different words. And if anybody can think of other ones, that's great. Add them to the comments. Because I'm not only calling this out, but I think that the thing is that title, witch, W-I-T-C-H, is the stone in the way, if you will, of people really embracing and engaging with where they really need to move forward. So psychics, thank you. Psychics, yes, thank you. And that led me to the whole other thing. Oracles, thank you very much. Astrologers and empaths. Now we're in a race. Okay, thanks, Amanda. So and the thing about that is tarot readers as well as Reiki masters, Reiki masters, yogis. Okay. Oh, I have something to say about yogis. Sounds really bad. I have something to say about yogis, and it's okay. So if you're a yogi, this is not a bad thing. I'm simply saying that I think that astrologers, thank you, that they as that piece of health became more mainstream. I was thinking about this today, like how there's a yoga studio, like, kind of almost not entirely like a Starbucks, but there's like a yoga studio probably in almost every community. And so it's very easy for someone to say, I'm a yoga instructor. And behind the scenes, they're really a healer who works with the body. So it's like, I'm this healer, but really what I'm going to say is I'm a yoga instructor. And so for me, I will say, like, I was a hypnotherapist. And now if I say I'm a hypnotherapist, it's like no big deal. 23 years ago, that was really woo-woo. That was really out there. It's probably as far out there, like in my circle, in my little sphere, as there could be at the time. I mean, I guess that's not entirely true, but so as like a common thing that people knew of. And so it takes courage, and yet I don't think it should. The word should, I usually don't use that word. So I think it's sad that it does. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. Oh yes, exactly. Acupuncturists. That's a good point, Amanda. And chiropractors. Ooh, oh, good stuff. Okay, so yes. So the thing about it is that it's not just so much they're there. There's a there, obviously. It's those people who are hiding in plain sight, right? So they're using that title, and they're still inside a piece of them that they haven't necessarily fully embraced or shared with other people. And I, of course, have a recent history with that. And it matters to me. It matters to me because, like I said, as I mentioned before, with the idea that the concept of my having that recurrent vision of moving through this long tunnel, like almost like infinity tunnel of rainbow light, and I can just so vividly see these cell doors being locked and me just opening one after the other and moving through that process of like, no, come out, wherever you are, right? Be out here. The world needs you to be here, and it needs you to show up 100% as you are, right? And wherever you are today, if you watch this now, if you're watching this in the replay, and there's something inside of you that speaks to you and says, maybe I am woo woo. Maybe I am a witch. Maybe I am a wizard. And here's some things. There's this great site I saw, which is really cool, and it talked about like 13 signs that you might be a witch. And I thought I could almost bring that down to 5. Okay, 5 things. Okay, number 1, you wonder. Okay, you wonder if you are. You wonder if other people can see, hear, or experience the things the way you do. Right? So that's like sign number 1. Right? You already kind of know that for you, you're able to see, hear, and experience things in the world around you that you feel maybe not everybody else is experiencing. Right? So that's sign number 1. Sign number 2, you are renewed by nature, by natural things. So you go to the ocean and you are like 100% filled up, right? Or you even feel drawn, like you feel dried out when you can't get to water, or you feel invigorated when you're out in nature and you're hiking in a way that you feel like you're not just moving through the forest, but you're connected to the forest. All right. So there's like a sense of like the natural world and you being one, and that somehow that feeds you. That'd be that's my number 2. Number three is kind of different. It's this concept that you have a sense for yourself. So this is how you tell if you're hiding. You have a sense that there's a part of who you are, right? There's a part of who you are. It is not safe to share with others, even though you know it would be helpful if you could. Okay, so it's not safe to share with others, even though you know it would be more helpful if you did. Right? You could be more of service if you did. that number 4? I'm 4. I hope I'm up 4. So let's see. Let's recount. So 1, you're even questioning it. That's easy. 2, you are, I should write these down. 2, you are connected to nature. Or is that 3? That was 3, I think. So 3 is you're hiding it. You're hiding that sense of knowing because it feels like it's not safe. 4 for me really is when I work with clients and I watch this happening. Well, 4 is kind of a trick because 4 is you are receiving some sort of knowledge that comes to you and doesn't seem to be something that could be brought about based on your current experiences. So that's a good sign. You question it. Yeah, and thank you, Amanda. You question it. And so 5 really gets to this one. I think is something that I think everybody can just take a deep breath into. Right? So 5, if you want to know if you are who I'm speaking to, right? If you're one of the witches, wizards, healers, acupuncturists, whatever we just said, went through the list of, that really is hiding out. 5 is the one that I think will, if you have all 5 of these, then I'm talking to you, okay? So 5 is you feel lonely even when there's other people around, right? So you feel lonely. When people are talking about things in like what's happening in the world and, you know, they're talking about things in a level of kind of day-to-day life, and you are sensing in yourself that there's more to it, but you're not comfortable to speak it. And then you end up feeling alone. You feel like you're like no one understands you. And that makes you feel alone. Like you're lonely because you feel separate from everyone in that way. So if all of those things, or probably even 3 out of 5 of those things sound like you, there may be another step that could help you embrace really understanding that A, it's safe, B, that we really do need you. The world really does need you to show up. And so, that's why I think it's important for this next topic, which is, demystifying the world of woo. All right. So I had the real amazing, awesome opportunity to talk to someone who I'd worked with in the past. And I recognized, like, she has all 5 of those signs. So, there's that. And, we're talking about this process and recognizing that one of the things she said, which was really interesting. So there's the idea that it's dangerous, right? There's the idea that it's dangerous. So that's the first one we talked about, like being a witch, the burning and all of that stuff that comes with it. But there's something also that happens that I think that it's not just about being burned at the stake, right? I mean, that's like the nuclear option, right? There's this other more subtle thing that is, I like the word insipid, so we'll just throw that in there, that happens. And that's this. All right, another secret. No cape and pointy hat required, right? So you don't have to show up. You don't have to show up to dress up and be this, right? So it was interesting because that's a piece of this I think that I could understand and relate with. Like, however you show up, whether that's t-shirts and jeans or diamonds and stilettos, as long as you bring all of you and your true gifts, that's all that matters. That's you're a witch in stilettos, right? You're a witch in Birkenstocks. You're a witch in flip-flops. It doesn't, that part of it kind of needs to be demystified, because I think that's another piece of why people can have some resistance to really wanting to step in and embrace it. Um, and I afterwards I was driving and I thought about Deepak Chopra's red shoes. So I went to see Deepak Chopra live and it was amazing. And I totally knew then, like when I was watching him, I'm like, oh, here is, oh, that's another word we left out was people will be told that they're old souls. You ever been told? We'll throw that in as a bonus. 6. Old soul. You're an old soul. And they might have heard that for a long, long time. So, or an ascended master. There's lots of little phraseology, but basically you get that sense from other people that they know more than is quote unquote average. So anyway, so when I was watching Deepak Chopra on stage, I was, sitting up really close. I was in the first couple rows. And I remember getting distracted by his red shoes. And I thought to myself, I wonder if that's his thing, like that's his signature thing. And I think I've seen him several times in it, so I probably should look it up, but I'm guessing it probably is. But here's the thing. Kind of as a living embodiment of somebody who's talking about all kinds of esoteric, quantum mechanics, philosophy, sort of religion, because he talks about God, that he's talking about all of these things from a place where he's filling stadiums and he's wearing, basically just his regular, whatever's comfortable black clothes that he wears. He wears like a vest and some jeans. He's wearing jeans. That's right. He wears jeans and these great red shoes. So I guess to me, that's certainly evidence that you can be fully encompassing your gift, share your knowledge and wisdom and insight and intuition, and be in a frame, right? Show up in a format that's yours, right? That's his thing. That's his piece of that. That's his style. And it's not about having the long flowing cloak. And if it is for you and that feels right to you, then I think that's okay. And I want to encourage people who are watching this or thinking, well, I'd never want to wear that. Great, then don't. That's not the point. It doesn't matter how you dress it up. And I kind of go back all the way back to the point of what the Oracle is sharing, which is like, this thing you're wearing, this suit, it's just that. So however you want to dress it, that's not the point. That's not the point of how or why not to be, I guess. That's not a reason not to be fully embracing whatever is uniquely yours as a gifted individual. The idea that those who have healing gifts and esoteric powers should be above the world of worldly things is also outdated and detrimental to the expansion of the good in the world. Yes, I said that. And I really believe it. I believe it because it's created a second wave of squashing down of people with gifts. Because another thing that someone told me recently, who is clearly gifted and talented and is stuck in a loop of, is how will I make money at that? Like they think that having the gift somehow is going to, not having the gift, but telling people that they're gifted, telling people that they have this power, will somehow make them less commercially viable, for lack of a better word. It's like, again, we go back to the yoga studios. Here's the thing. Just for a second, just think in your own mind, because I was also just, in this place of thinking about this today when I was driving around, and how many things have vana at the end, right? As in nirvana, as in an esoteric term about reaching this pinnacle of place. This pinnacle. Thank you. And It's everywhere. Everybody wants it and they're willing to pay for it. And yet there's this other side of that coin, if you will, where those who are working in those fields, those who are working in that kind of environment, still feel somehow that it is becoming a slave to your ego to be sustained and to thrive, right? So there's like this outdated version of what it means to be enlightened, what it means to be intuitive, what it means to be an empath or a astrologer or any other service. Now, interestingly enough, Amanda had mentioned earlier chiropractors, or maybe I did. Regardless, there is a group that didn't fall down that path. Reiki masters. There's still, I think, when I meet people that are doing Reiki, there's definitely two different groups. So I've known people who are masters in that profession who are doing really well financially. And I know others who are struggling in moving that block, that money block, because they have that belief system tied back to this idea that service should come with suffering. And I honestly know in the heart of hearts, my heart of hearts, and also just from, all of the guidance I've received from the Oracle, that is so far from true. You can do whatever you want. You can always claim a life of suffering. That is your choice. So, welcome to free will as a human body. That does not, however, give you any higher right as an esoteric being. You're not getting any extra points, right? There's no extra scoreboard going, wow, you're super good because you've been suffering through this. That is not how it works. And the flawed concept that that's how it works, again, I think it's keeping people stuck in this idea that being woo-woo, being a witch, being magical in any way, having these healing abilities and gifts and talents isn't worth it. The world needs you. It needs you. It needs you to do that. It needs you to show up and be that. And if you don't, then the world suffers. And on top of that, you suffer. So everybody's suffering and no one's winning and no one's growing and no one's healing. And I can't imagine that's the purpose of you being provided that gift. So if you're listening to me right now and you've listened to all of this so far and you've thought to yourself, oh my gosh, it feels like what I've been going through, or oh my God, I think that's me, or oh no, I think I'm a witch. I want you to hear me right now. You are here on purpose. And you are not alone. You can share, you can express, you can elevate and open yourself to give that gift fully, and the world will rise up to meet you. It is waiting for you to show up. The universe created everything in the world and you just the way you are on purpose. So I implore you to do that, not only for yourself, but for those who are waiting to be healed and served by you, right? Because there is someone out there waiting for you to show up with the talents and gifts and level of supreme esoteric wonder that you are. And if you don't show up, they're missing out too. Right? And then they may be not, like, Amber Jane said, they may not be able to give their gifts to other people until you do that, until you help them with whatever gift or talent or great and amazing wonder that you are. So whether that's a shamanism or an empath or an astrologer, or whether that's some tech guy who's sitting in a cubicle or tech gal who's sitting at her desk, if you have something special, the world deserves to know about it. It doesn't have to be a secret superpower anymore, right? And that, that to me is a piece of this as well. Like we homogenize our businesses when we are talented and gifted and we want to bring people in, and we know that the gift and the talent that we have makes us special. And how many of you out there are watching this and think, I can't really explain how I help you. I just know I do, right? I know that if you work with me, I can help you with that problem, but I can't really tell you how I do it. And it's not so much that you maybe can't help or won't tell them how, but, it's the idea that you're keeping a piece back, right? And part of that, I think, comes to this place of like, well, I want to be open to all business, especially people that are starting out. I think that's where that comes from as well. Like there's a bigger piece for that. Like I don't want to scare anyone away. I don't want to scare off business. Oh my gosh. Do you not think I didn't want to scare off business by starting a talk saying, when was the last witch burned? I mean, I saw somebody jump off here. I get it. That's a topic that's hot. And you know what? I'm here on purpose and I'm here to do my job. My job is to set people free from this idea that they are not safe and that their gifts are not safe to be shared with the world. And that is a lie. Boldface, if you ask me. So the concept that by somehow hiding your gift, hiding your talent, hiding how you figured out this amazing way to create a building out of nowhere, whatever that thing is you do, that piece, that should be the crowning glory of the work that you do, right? That's the thing that makes you stand out. And so the reason you may or may not be having challenges trying to kind of bring your people in is that you're not telling them who you are. And so you're creating confusion, you're creating static, right? It's almost like, a lot of times we talk about wearing and showing up and wearing clothes that don't really suit you. And that's a big piece of what I work with my clients on through Catherine Johnson, who's a really great image consultant, is that, when you do that, you create a visual static. Well, when you're not really being honest about who you are and how you are capable of achieving results for your clients, and part of that is the woo-woo stuff that you do, there's something that's going to be a disconnect. There's going to be people that'll fall away. Oh, yes. And yeah, when you announce it, there'll be people that fall away. And that's okay. Trust me. You'll have to take my word on that one. But it's the idea that you're creating these superpowers that you're using, right? And sometimes, here's the funny thing. Excuse me. Sometimes we even use terms like talented. She's such a gifted ex. She's such a talented massage therapist. She's such an amazing, she has such insight. She knows me. I feel like she just knows what the next question should be. All of those things. It's like, hello. So speak it out. Share it. Don't make it a superpower that's some kind of secret, right? So that the people that are looking for you can really find you. And to that end, part of what I wanted to share tonight was an announcement. So there are some people that are already participating, and so this is going to be a change, which I'm glad some of you are here tonight, and those I know that I shared with it the other night, for my VIP clients, that I've said it before, we're going to Costa Rica in August. And what I've come to understand, I received a download, a divine download from the Oracle saying this. She said, you work with gifted women. She actually said, you work with gifted people who are struggling to create purpose-driven businesses that make money. And so for a while, I was like, oh, these are people that are really good at what they do. And all of a sudden, the other day, it was like, knock, knock, knock myself on the head. You know, I got that aha moment when I'm like, oh, you meant gifted. You meant really gifted people who are struggling. And I have just got it confused. I confused the message. And what I recognized now was the message was they're struggling to bring that to their business so that they can prosper. Yes, you're not Spider-Man. You don't need a secret identity. And interestingly enough, a lot of people relate to Spider-Man as one of their favorite heroes, as well as Superman, because in the daytime, he's the regular person. It's like, yes, exactly. So, no more. So here's the big announcement. Ready? Drum roll, please. Hope that's not too loud. Okay, drum roll. The big announcement. Ready? I'm going to put it up here actually on this. So let me put it up there. So, what started out was the Master Creators Adventure Retreat, which always stuck in my mouth when I said it. And now I know why. Because here you go. Ready? Everybody ready? Hold on to your hats. It is now the Master Creators. I'm going to write this just all in caps so you can tell the difference. All right. Ready? If you're ready, say yes. I want to see yeses, and then I will hit show. I want to make sure everybody gets this. If you're watching, type yes, show me, something of that nature, and we will post it in 5. All right. Give it to me, guys. All right. I'm also actually reading some of these comments from before. Thank you, Amanda, for posting the 1 through 5. Actually, 6. All right. Thank you. Yes, I got a yes. One more yes, and we're going to go for this. Okay. Where'd it go? I lost it. Oh, there it is. All right. All right, folks. The big announcement. Here it goes. Ta-da! Okay, you can see it on your screen. The Master Creators Adventure Retreat is now the Master Creators Alchemy Retreat. And with that, thank you. With that, what's the deal? What's the change? Okay, so aside from obviously just changing the name, the one piece, that one word, why that really makes a difference is what I recognized after coming back from Thailand was it was so challenging to put a pin in what happened during those days on the island together. And suddenly, in this process of unveiling kind of what's going on with not only some of my clients, but just in this up-leveling of being more visible as the Oracle and wanting to serve people who are challenged and struggling with coming out with their own talents, is that's what happened. We came one way and left another. And in the middle, we explored a space and time where there was something that was transmuted, right? So that's the concept of alchemy. It's to transmute, like I said before, one thing to another, to bring gold from lead. And so the really super duper exciting extra special bonus to this is that the setup for the retreat itself will now involve more of diving deeper into those esoteric pieces. So not only are we going to be talking more about quantum attraction, which we did talk about in Thailand, but we're going to go deeper into not just talking, but practicing these tools and digging into how they can actually, by utilizing them, you can actually change how you're showing up in the world and in your business, and how that can actually help you to draw more clients and therefore make more money in your business by stepping into that more. So we're going to be talking about things like quantum attraction. We're going to be talking about a new form of vision work that's different than probably anybody has talked about before as far as manifestation goes. And I have another announcement that I'm really excited about, which is we're going to be talking about healing our stuck places, healing those blocks, those mental blocks that we have over parts of our being in the world and being business leaders and being healers and seekers and seers and doers and leaders that are keeping us from really shining as brightly as we can. And the practical side of that will be that once you leave this island, you will walk away with a 30-day plan. After the 30-day plan is created, it's not only going to be talking about your life and your business and kind of how to kind of create a holistic approach to it, but walking away with steps to achieve within the first 30 days. So two things that, as far as that goes, is the 10 days after the event, we will be meeting. So I'll be having one-on-one check-ins with clients 10 days after the event to walk through that oh, that's it. I didn't say it. So we'll be talking about grounding energies, and we'll be talking in 10 days about post-retreat grounding. So if you've ever gone to a retreat, any kind of really intense retreat, and you've gotten back and on day one, you come back from whatever this amazing retreat is. Sorry, I won't do that on that side. And you feel like you're unstoppable and the world is amazing and everybody's full of love and connection because, of course, you've been immersed in that for X amount of days. And then, quote unquote, real life comes back into it and you got to get, quote unquote, back to work perhaps. And then you start to have to follow up and deal with things and your momentum kind of starts to fall off. Or you feel like you can't come back. So what I noticed for the people that came back from that expressed to me from the people that came back from Thailand was, I don't want to come back. And so they were like way up high. And I explained it today. I was like, it was like they were balloons. And I was like, whoa, like come back, like tie back down in. So there is a way you'll be instructed specifically on how to tap back in, how to ground yourself so that you can not only live in that esoteric and expansive and cosmos kind of interesting, like kind of being tapped into the cosmos, but you'll also, I'm excited too, Leanne, you'll also be able to live here as a human being. Like that's the piece, right? Like the balance between the two. And so I will personally be checking in with every person who's in the retreat in 10 days and check in and make sure that you have those structures in place so that you can keep moving forward with the plan that you created for yourself. And then in 30 days, we'll have a group call to talk about like accountability and check in and tweak anything at that point that needs to be adjusted. So those are two new pieces of the retreat that haven't been revealed previously. So so it's the Master Creators Alchemy Retreat. We'll be talking about not only that, about kind of how to utilize and transmute not only quote unquote problems, but how to use those challenges you might be coming up against as tools to really move forward, right? So we don't always have to throw everything out. And so if you show up, be aware that things will shift, but it doesn't mean that everything has to go away. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that is all the cool, good stuff that's coming. But there's one more thing that's going to happen next. And here it is. If you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay, so it doesn't matter, you can do it either way. The first 5 people who heard in this that they really feel like they're ready to step in and embrace whatever witchy woo-woo connection that they have and really start to live from that place, those of you who have been in hiding and know now after listening to this that I was talking to you, I have an offer today, and today only, in the sense that this is it. You'll have to use this link that I'm providing, and you'll have to use a term that I'm about to tell you, okay? So here's what you'll do. Here's what you'll get, I should say. You will get the entire experience, 8 days, 8 nights, and 7 days in Costa Rica. It's all inclusive at the hotel resort. You will get your food, lodging, and a full day excursion retreat. Each of the days we will actually be moving out of the space. So this is not about sitting in a hotel room. This is about us actually going into the jungle area that surrounds where we are and having our workshops in that space. So actually in nature and near water. And we'll also, again, have a 1 day where we're all together because it is family friendly. So if you bring a loved one, a partner, a best friend, and you want to hang out, you can do that during that 1 day retreat in the middle, or the excursion in the middle. And then it includes transportation from and to the hotel. Okay. So great. That's already on the site, right? So you're like, okay, great. Yay. Well, I am so committed to really helping people show up and make a difference like Amber Jane has, that I am creating a team of people to show the way. People that are already living from that experience of embodying their woo, if you will, and making a life and a business that supports that. So I am offering for 5 people that mention this, like I said, this thing I'm about to tell you about. So if you're watching this, make sure to write this word down because I'm not putting it in the comments. What? Yep, you heard me. This will not be going into the comments. So this will be, if you've watched this far, because I only want people who have watched this video to this point. Because I know that if you have, and you are feeling alone and frustrated, and you know for a fact that if you could just figure out a way to create and incorporate your gift with your work, then you would be more prosperous and help more people. That's who I want to talk to. That's who we want to surround ourselves with. And that is the environment that I want to create on this retreat. I want it to be, for lack of better words, a coven of people who are free to be 100% themselves, right? They're free to let their freak flag fly and just be who they are and share in open and honest communication how they're going to make a difference in the world. And if that is you, then I want you there. And I don't want any excuses for you not to be there. And so that is why for the next 5 people that utilize the word I'm about to give you, I will allow you to get into this retreat instead of the $69.97 that it already is right now for $39.97. So you will pay $39.97, saving $3,000 if you sign up by Friday. So Friday is the 25th, and put your $500 deposit in. Once you put your $500 deposit in and you mention this word in the process of your reservation, which you'll see in a moment, I'm going to post. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and post that now. So if anybody's ready to jump in, let me get rid of that. There you go. You can go here. So I'm putting this up so anybody that needs to, oops, dash, jump off. I will put the link. I'm going to put the link. I'm going to show it, but I'm also going to put it in the comments. So the link is not the word, so it's okay. For those of you that are like, wait, what's the word? Okay. So you get all of everything that goes with the retreat for $39.97, right? In order to get that rate, like I said, you have had to have listened to this because it's nowhere else. It doesn't exist anywhere else. The only people that are going to get this opportunity are people that have listened to this video to this point. And the word, okay, the referral word is Phoenix. Pheonix. Phoenix. $39.97. Writing the word Phoenix and putting $500 down. Once you've done that, we'll verify that. We'll take the first 5 people that sign up using that word, and we will send you an invoice for the difference. Because if you go on the site and you try to sign up and you try to register, it will charge you $69.97. So you have to register and deposit. You put your deposit in for $500, and then you will receive a special invoice to pay the remainder by the 1st of June. So that's the big news. And the final thing that I wanted to do before we finished, great, right? Awesome stuff. So excited. It's going to be incredible. So here's the last piece that I want to share before I head out. And that is that we have our first team member who has agreed to show up. This I will put on there. Yeah, okay. So you've probably seen her earlier, doing a little talking in here, and that's awesome. Thank you so much for showing up. And that is Angela Rosefields. Now, what I can say about Angela that I'm really excited about is Angela is one of those healers. She is a person who has embraced her gift of healing along with her skills and her talents as a coach and a yoga instructor and a world traveler and a enlightened being whose hands have the power to heal and who is embracing the opportunity to come and share with us some of the concepts around not only about healing, but about the quantum level mechanics of the universe, including the one thing that Angela told me she's really excited to share is the concept of time, talking about time. And that's something for me that I think is really a fun piece of the quantum to work with is time. And so she's going to be talking about time bending. So if you could use a little more time in your day, in your life, and ways of kind of moving and transmuting, if you will, come and play with time. Come and play with us about boundaries and moving into and out of your esoteric gifts with intention and grounding and being able to give more and have more by being 100% who you are meant to be. And if that's you, I'm really excited to see you show up. I will be making one-on-one calls to people that do take advantage of this so that you are welcomed and you feel safe and that you know that you're surrounded with people that are ready to support you and your healing and your coming out, if you will, to the world around you. So again, if you've ever felt like you have been holding back a piece of yourself in your life, in your business, and you're ready to really embrace that and give it to the world the way it was intended, I encourage you to show up and join us in Costa Rica. Take advantage, obviously, if you can, if you're one of the first 5 people to sign up, to take advantage of this deal because it will not come back. It will not be back here. This is something that I'm doing because I really want people to be expressed fully. And I want to encourage people to really have that community where they feel 100% supported in showing up and giving their gifts. And if that's you, fantastic. If it's not you, that's fine too. Now, here's the kicker. If you know someone who you're like, I know someone who needs to be there, who needs that space, right? You know, it's kind of funny when this happened. And the Oracle brought this to my attention that this is what we were going to be doing and how we're going to be changing the retreat up. I thought to myself, I literally said, great. So I'm creating a wayward school. I'm creating a school for wayward wizards, witches, and, you know, woo-woo healers. That's what I'm doing now. And the answer was yes. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm creating a safe space for those people who are ready to really embrace all that that means, the power that they can yield, the difference that they can make. And I am committed to that. I'm committed to doing whatever it takes. And in this particular time, we're going to be doing it surrounded by an amazing, beautiful, lush jungle and crystal clear water, luxurious suites, and really deep bonding experiences of being able to really be heard, seen, and acknowledged for exactly who you are, exactly the way you're meant to be. So if this speaks to you, please don't wait. Grab your spot, claim it now, and know that you're going to be changing your life for good. All right, everyone. Thanks for everybody to show up. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate all the comments and the sharing. And yeah, feel free to share this. It'll be on the website, so you can always share it later. If you know someone who really needs to be there, make sure they take advantage of this. So make sure they watch the video. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great one. Yeah, you can tag people, by the way, in the comments if you want to in the video, if that's what you want to do. That's another way to do that. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to go ahead and now and namaste. All right. Bye.